This show is a proud member of the Bat Squad Network. For this and other great shows, head over to batsquadnetwork.com.
This is Geek Revolution Radio.
A show for geeks by geeks. Hello and welcome to this edition of Geek Revolution Radio. I am your host, Ryan Bennett, and with me, as always, is Mr. William Hatton.
Hello, hello, hello. What's going on out there?
How you doing this week, Will?
Pretty good. It was a good weekend. A lot of good things are going on, like all of a sudden in my life. So
yeah, you got a big fancy promotion, or what's going on there?
I got promoted. So I'm now the head producer for our morning show, Good Day Lubbock, here at Fox 34. So I'm really excited about that. And in the process of getting promoted, my wife and I decided, hey, it's time for us to buy a house.
So nice.
On the market, we found one. We sent in an offer. They countered, and we went with the counter. So we are in contract.
So you got it. It's like you just got to do the 45-day thing, sign, and it's done deal.
It's actually probably going to be a lot faster than that. We went with a 15-day deal.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, and we did the inspection today.
Nice.
So it's rolling right along. I think maybe because it's a VA home loan that they go quicker. Because there's less.
So you're doing your mortgage through the VA?
Yeah, so we're going with a VA home loan. So
you guys are living the dream, dude. The mortgage company when we bought our house made me want to kill myself.
Oh, no.
And my grandma's buying a house right now, and it's the same thing. They send you an email every day for 2 months asking for some other different document or some other different explanation about something else, literally up until the bitter end. And by the time you get there, you're just like so tired of dealing with them. You're like, you get to the point where you're just like, I don't even know if it's worth it anymore. Like,
right. Well, what am I doing the whole time? Why did I make?
Yeah, it's terrible. Well, congratulations, man. That's pretty awesome. And I saw some pictures of your house, and it looks like it comes complete with the 10 Cloverfield Lane dungeon for you to store your friends in. So
we'll post some pictures on the website, but it's got like a storm cellar for like tornadoes and stuff. And I actually went down in it today.
Oh,
not so bad. It's got a light bulb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got that's all it is. It's like an 8x8 room. It's like a prison cell, you know.
Wow. It's weird because like I live in Texas as well, and I didn't even know that those were a thing. Like I thought those were just things in a movie. I've never seen one before. Like I don't know. I was looking at it, and I was like, man, if you ran some electricity out there and hung up like some stuff on the walls, that'd be a sweet podcast studio.
Well, it's got electricity. It's got.
Well, you're halfway there, dude. You just got to hang some blankets on the walls for sound dampening, and you're there.
I'm all set, man. I can just go down in the little bunker.
The internet will be. That's one long Ethernet cable, I guess. But
yeah.
I mean, I've got like 200. I made the mistake when I podcast from my upstairs, not my basement. I don't even have a basement, but I podcast from a room that's upstairs, and our router is like downstairs and on the other side of the house. So I bought like a 200-foot long Ethernet cable, which turned out to be maybe like 100 feet too many. So I've got like this, I'm looking at it right now on the top of my desk. I've got just like this huge coil of Ethernet cable. But you can go on Amazon. You can buy like literally infinite lengths of Ethernet cable for like $10.
Yeah, it baffles me. I'm like, who needs that much? You know, maybe like businesses, but like at home. Yeah, you could probably like wrap it through each room in your house and still have more.
That's what I was thinking, dude. I was looking at my ceiling while I was waiting for the show to start, and I was like, I bet if I drilled a hole, I'd get up in the attic, I could run it through the attic and then back downstairs through the wall. Yeah. So
I think the bunker is nice, but I think the thing I like about the house that we're going with though is the theater system.
Oh yeah, it has a home theater. That's right.
Theater. And I turned it on today to check it out. It's huge. I mean, it's like wall to wall. It has to be at least 16 feet long.
Wow. You got to get out a measuring tape and measure it corner to corner diagonally and tell us how many inches we're dealing with here.
I'm telling you, I told Anna, my wife, I said, I've got plans for our first viewing, whatever it is. I already know what movie it is. It's going to be Star Wars. I'm debating between the new one or episode 4. It'll be a coin, I think.
That would be my big conundrum. I'm like, do I go with the original or do I go with the awesome new one? I don't know. Mm-hmm. That's cool, man. That's very, very exciting. I'm really happy for you guys. And me and Sammy will have to schlep down there once you guys get all moved in and check out the theater and stuff.
Definitely.
Or up there? I don't know. Are you guys up or down? I guess you're north.
Sideways.
Sideways.
Put out that.
Yeah. So, do you have any? I was going to ask you, and I kind of bring it up, partly to segue into political things, but they banned Uber. Well, they didn't ban. I should say that Uber and Lyft pulled out of Austin today.
Yeah, Uber pulled out. We did a report on that today in the news.
Yeah, Lyft did too, as of a couple hours ago.
I don't know what implications it's going to have here in Lubbock. I haven't heard anything. We've been here in Lubbock, they've been dealing with similar issues, not fingerprinting. Like there in Austin, they pulled because the city decided to continue fingerprinting drivers.
Right.
Here in Lubbock, it's something similar. Like they want to more extensive background checks and safety inspections from the city. And Uber is said to be complying here in town. So I don't know. It'd be really kind of interesting to see what happens in Texas overall.
I think the whole thing is dumb. I'm just going to go on record right now and say that both sides are being stupid. One, if the DUIs and the number of people that die because of DUIs goes up at all after this, and I assume it's going to, I think that both Uber, Lyft, and the Austin government are to blame for it. Because the fact that they couldn't come to some sort of a deal about something as stupid as a background check, which in my opinion has nothing to do with the city of Austin, because Uber, I feel the same way about Airbnb. It's all self-regulated. Let businesses run their businesses how they want to, as long as they're not hurting other people. And something as simple as a difference between a background check by your name and social security number or a background check due to your fingerprint, really, I just can't believe that it's becoming such a big deal.
Yeah, it's kind of silly. It's funny how city governments feel like they need or want specific mandates from a company like that. I don't know. I kind of feel like every city wants their cut, and they just, I think partly it has to do with the taxi services and the unions within taxis.
The thing about it is, though, is if taxi services and taxi companies weren't so terrible, Uber and Lyft wouldn't exist.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. This is a company or a method that's going to wipe you out anyway. You know, people you go with progression. You don't go with the same thing. If there's something better, you go with what's better. Like why?
It's supposed to be a free market, right? Yeah. People spend their money where they. That's just what's so mind-blowing about it. And, they act like the biggest qualm I have about Texas specifically now that I live here is that they claim they're so American and that this is, the best state in the country, yet they are the worst to businesses. They have to regulate everything here. Yeah. Everything has to be regulated. Everything has to be taxation without representation. They have to have their greedy little hands in everything. There is not any more freedom here than there is anywhere else in the world, even though people are so passionate about freedom here. You can't mess with their guns, but if you mess with a way for people to get home safely, when they go out to the bars or whatever, then we got to get all involved with that.
Well, what's funny to me is self-driving cars are the future, especially in like Uber and Lyft are both investing in it.
General Motors has a deal with Lyft right now. We're building the self-driving cars for Lyft.
And how, if taxis want to run the drivers out for Uber or Lyft, they have to realize that the self-driving cars are next. It's what are they going to do? There's no background check for a self-driving car.
But you hit a perfect point there. The cab companies have not changed in 100 years or however long they've been business in, from the very time automobiles were made, the cab companies have not changed their model or the way they do business whatsoever. And things like Uber and Lyft popped up because of that, because there was a hole in the market, a hole in a segment of that market more where, hey, we're going to put on a smartphone. We're going to make it easy for people to get it and they can just call it whenever they want it and we'll take them wherever they want. And by the way, we're going to employ people that are just regular people. There's no one telling people in cab companies or cab unions that they can't, quit their job and be an Uber driver or a Lyft driver. They're more than welcome to.
Yeah.
It's not free market. Anyone that ever tells you it's a free market in the United States, they're lying.
Yeah.
Corporate Wall Street and the government run everything together.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I brought that up to say, well, I guess it's going to be Trump versus Clinton later this year. It's like the movie. It's like, it almost reminds me of kind of on topic. I watched the Fantastic Four, the new one, because it's on HBO Go.
Oh, I have to check it out.
It's the new. Oh my god, it's as bad as everyone said it was, dude.
Really?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. It's right on par with how much crapping everybody was doing on it. It's so bad.
I believe it is. It's like a Band-Aid. You just have to watch it for yourself.
That's why I did it. But it's like a movie nobody wanted, and now we have a presidential election that nobody wanted. Like neither side liked their nominee. It's hilarious.
True. I'm still in somewhat denial. I don't want to think about it because I don't know what I'm going to do come November. I don't like either side.
You have to go, this is my personal opinion, you have to vote for Bernie, not because you want Bernie to be president, but just to fight the two political parties and powers that be. Yeah, that's the only reason you have to vote for Bernie.
Probably what I'll end up doing, because I just don't, I would say I lean Democrat. I'd say I'm somewhat in the center, but when it comes to presidents, at least between, like if it was Trump and any other Democrat candidate, I probably would go with them. But Hillary Clinton is so shady to me. Yeah. I mean, half the things she's done with her email systems, if I was in the Army and I'd done even a fraction of them, I would be in prison.
Yeah. Well, it's not just that. I mean, the problem that this country has experienced in the last, since 2008, but really in the history of ever, with Wall Street specifically, it's going to be worse when Clinton gets in there, if she gets in there, I should say. I'm not sure if it's going to be any better with Trump in there, though. I mean, you're talking a business guy or a person who was promising everything to Wall Street to get elected, Basically, it's two very, very bad options, but did you get a chance to watch the White House Correspondents' Dinner that was about a week ago, I guess?
But I didn't watch it in its entirety, but I got to see some clips from it.
Okay, you should watch it. You should watch Obama's piece, about a half hour. It's about the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. His comedic timing is very shocking for a president. Like he should take the show on the road after he ends his presidency, because he makes a pretty good comedian. And I understand that, he has access to probably some of the funniest writers in our country or in the world, but his comedic timing is really, really good, which makes it even better. But anyway, he brought up this thing in the middle of it, and he says, I can't figure out why these last few months my approval ratings keep going up. They're rising and rising and rising. It's there's no reason for it to go up. Nobody knows what's happening. And then the screen behind him, they show a picture of Trump, Clinton, and Ted Cruz. It was just like Obama's looking pretty good now, isn't he?
Yeah. No, it's just Trump is funny to me. It just baffles me. Like, my dad supports Trump, and not all up until recently when Trump became the nominee, basically rallying behind the Republican Party and getting behind their candidate. Mm-hmm. But to me, my dad holds like strong, values that are completely contradictory to Trump.
Right.
Like, you're just going to set those things aside because he's your guy?
Well, Trump does too, actually. Trump has a lot of conflict within himself. I mean, I was talking to one of my buddies at work who is like a borderline Wall Street guy, and he's like, the thing that people don't realize about Trump is this could all be an act as far as his beliefs. Absolutely. He might be doing this just to shake up the Republican Party. Not only that, but he's running on all of his own money. So he doesn't owe the Republican Party anything, or anybody else for that matter. But and then he said, you got to remember that Trump and his family and his daughter is best friends with the Clintons. Like Trump's daughter and Clinton's daughter, they're best friends. And Trump basically until a couple of years ago has always been identified more as, a Democrat liberal type. Right, and then all of a sudden he comes out this whole way, and he's just basically, I almost half hope that it's just a show. You know what I mean? He's just doing all of this to make a point of how terrible not only the voters in America are, the people that are actually voting, but the political system in general, because it'd be the greatest satire ever. And I actually think that now that he has pretty much secured the nomination, you're going to see a lot of his strong beliefs in these kind of crazy bigot things that he's been doing. I think you're going to see him start to pull those kinds of things back a little bit.
Oh yeah, no,
because I don't think he honestly believes them personally. He's just doing it to get a rise out of everybody.
Whether he believes it or not, you're going to see that just because he's trying to appeal to the center. He's trying to appeal to the non-party base, trying to get people from the other side to really, Trump isn't so bad, kind of like that kind of sentiment.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens. I mean, I think it's going to be a circus either way, so that'll be
definitely going to be a circus.
I can only imagine what like the perspective of somebody from England or France or Japan or something must be, or Canada. Fun times. Anyway, let's transition into some geeky stuff. I wanted to, I guess, take a minute to talk about Game of Thrones, but before we get to that, I guess I want to air a little bit of a grievance, and I'm not sure if I'm airing the grievance about Entertainment Weekly or if I'm airing the grievance about the internet in general. But one of the things that we always hear everybody screaming on Facebook, on wherever, all the time is spoiler alert. Like, you spoiled something or other, even though it may be days, months, weeks, even years after that thing is aired and people are talking about it. And then there's, some random hipster in the corner that's mad because they say it's a spoiler alert, right? And everyone's crying about spoiler alerts. Well, Entertainment Weekly, I guess they don't care at all, and they aren't going to hear it, because literally when Game of Thrones airs on the East Coast, they immediately start posting on their website gigantic spoiler alerts. And these are spoiler alerts. The show hasn't even aired in Mountain Time Zone or Western Time or the coast yet, West Coast. Hasn't even aired there yet. And if you go on Facebook and you happen to like Entertainment Weekly, boom, there's in your feed, and I will say spoiler alert right now, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, fast forward or whatever, but
yeah.
They're talking about Jon Snow coming back to life at the very end of the last episode, like literally 2 minutes after that thing aired on the East Coast. And so I would like to air a grievance a little bit about them. Like, maybe you should wait at least a day or something, or like wait till the next day to start writing that kind of stuff. And I understand they're in the business of that kind of stuff, but also people on the internet that keep crying about spoiler alert, you got to stop. Okay. If you haven't seen it and it's been a couple of days and somebody spoils a major point because they want to talk about it, it's on you. Okay. I know we all love our DVRs. We love that we can watch things whenever the hell we want to, but we're tired of hearing you complain about it if you're not going to watch something somewhat reasonably after it airs. And I think somewhat reasonably is within not the night it airs, but if you haven't watched it by the end of the next night, then it's on you. Then you either have to stay off Facebook or you have to stop talking to people. One of the two, if you're that worried about spoiler alerts. If you're going to go 2 weeks or a year or a couple of months and you're still yelling a spoiler alert about something that came out forever ago, F you, first of all. I'm tired of hearing that. Like, go away. We don't care about your spoiler alert. And now that I know you're mad about spoiler alerts, I'm going to spoil everything else I possibly can. Han dies at the end. How do you like that?
Yeah. It's definitely a hard thing because you can't avoid it online, on Twitter, on Facebook. You go, like, literally, if you go on your phone, like, I personally feel like a personal statement or post should wait, 48 hours after something's aired.
I don't think so. I think that if Entertainment Weekly can post about stuff, if you haven't seen it, then you have the duty to stay off your damn phone. Why is it my responsibility to look out for the world's spoiler alert? to make sure everybody in the world has a chance to see it. On this show, we'll give you 48 hours to see something. But as far as posting about it, after I've seen it, if Entertainment Weekly's already posted about it, I'm posting about it.
Yeah, that's true.
If you don't want to know about something, stay off of social media. If you don't want to find out if Jon Snow lived or died, watch the show, within a couple hours after it aired, or when it airs, preferably, or watch it, or stay off social networking, stay off the internet.
I honestly think the next generation of smartphones or whatever apps, technology need to develop some kind of spoiler-free mode,
Yeah. Well, I had that. They had a Chrome plugin for Star Wars that basically filtered out anything about Star Wars. And I did the responsible thing, and I turned it on about a week beforehand. When I found out that people had started seeing it, like critics and stuff, there are some people in the world that had seen it, that had been screened to them. I turned that on my Chrome browser, and then I think I saw that movie whatever day. I saw it a couple, I saw it in advanced screening, I think on Thursday. I went social media dark on Monday or Tuesday. I did not get on Facebook or anything like that because I didn't want to be spoiled. And it's not because I was going to be pissed off. It's my own fault if I would have gotten spoiled, because it is your duty as a person to stay off of social media if you don't want something specific spoiled that badly.
I don't know. I kind of feel like I see it on the other side, why shouldn't you be able to look at your phone and not worry that you're going to get spoiled? But I think you should be smart about it. Like people that whine about anything, especially something as trivial as a spoiler, I don't know. But I kind of feel like Facebook should really invest in, some kind of a filter feed. I've been saying it for years. I don't want to see, there was a while there that I was seeing a lot of stuff that I didn't agree with politically. I was like, it'd be nice if I could just set in my Facebook filter, I don't want to see, X, Y, and Z. And part of that, you could set it up to where all you say is, I don't want to see anything about Game of Thrones until next Wednesday or next Friday.
Or I don't want to see anything about transgender bathrooms.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't
or a blue dress or gold dress. I'm not even sure what it is still.
Exactly. I mean, all those little things. I feel like if social media networks could develop that as part of their platform, I would be in more favor of using Facebook. But the fact that there isn't any kind of filter with Facebook, there's minor filters, but it's not something where you could be specific and say, I don't want to see anything about Game of Thrones. Then you're going to just get everything, and you can get it at any interval. It kind of stinks, I think.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That would be pretty cool, but if you've got friends that are dumb politically, there's always the unfriend button too, so there's that. But
yeah, that's always the ultimate filter, I guess.
Yeah, I'm gonna filter you completely out of my life. How do you like that?
Oh yeah.
How do you like that random person I went to high school with that I barely talked to in high school and haven't talked to since? Unfriended.
Yeah. You got to do a spring cleaning with your friends anyway.
Yeah.
That just I don't even know you.
Yeah, I get on kicks like that too. I'm like, here are all the people that I was trying to get with back when I was single, and I'm not anymore. So I'm gonna go ahead and just unfriend all these random people.
Well, it's I hate to say it, but there are people that we used to work with at the radio station in Salt Lake that I'm like, I really don't care. We're not friends. We were basically inner colleagues. And...
No, I've jettisoned almost all of them. There's people that I follow though. Honestly, it's kind of funny. I will keep somebody as a friend on Facebook if they post things that are entertaining.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, honestly, anybody that I'm friends with right now on Facebook, it's because you've made the cut.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's too bad.
There's this girl, and she's one of my best friends' little sister, and she literally posts something every day that either makes me laugh or completely delights me. And I put a thing on her Facebook page there. I haven't talked to her in forever, but I sent her a message on Facebook and I was like, thank you for entertaining me every single day. I follow your feed just for that reason, because I know you're going to post something that I'm going to find very funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, Again, spoiler alert. I guess it's your own fault if you have. This is enough days after it. Jon Snow is back, and I got to tell you, I couldn't be happier about it. First of all, it was kind of a weak attempt by Game of Thrones because now that I think about it, and I may have mentioned this in the episode when we were talking about it a few weeks ago, but they wouldn't have paid to have Kit Harington in the flesh laying on the table frozen, like his body, had they not had plans to bring him back, because why would you pay his salary just to lay there dead, kind of thing, you know? But they brought him back, and then not only did they bring him back, but this last week's episode, I absolutely loved it because it feels like the storyline is finally moving past that big cliffhanger, and the plot lines are moving in a very good direction as far as I'm concerned with the people that I care about. I think we're about to find out the lineage of Jon Snow through the flashback things, which is interesting because Bran has always been my least favorite character. Like, I could care less about him. But now this season, I'm just like, oh, I can't wait till they have, a scene with him when they do a flashback and they go to showing Ned Stark when he was a kid, like in this epic, just totally cool sword fight. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. See, I
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I feel like this week's episode was basically the story setup. Like it just like kind of moves it along, but it's setting everything up to where you're like, okay, I'm starting the wheels spin a little bit.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. I think this episode set up kind of what's going to come in the next few weeks, but that whole scene, I wanted to talk about a couple of scenes. I wanted to talk first about that flashback because, somebody told me a long time ago that they explained to me that Jon Snow is actually the son of Ned Stark's sister and one of the Targaryens. I think Khaleesi's brother that got melted with gold, or one of the Targaryens. And I think that's what with that flashback, it feels like that's what they're alluding to with what's up in the castle, right?
Yeah, something's going on up there that I think is a very relevant, very important aspect of the story.
Yeah, and I think I've been pretty clear that my dream is that at the end you have Khaleesi, you have Jon Snow as her king, her as queen, and then you have Tyrion in there somewhere in whatever role he wants to be, advisor. I don't care what he is as long as he's in there. And so far we're 2 out of 3. And then at the very end of the episode, the other scene that I loved is Jon, basically, revealed that he was alive to everybody. And then he hands off his cape and he says, my watch is done. I died. I'm out. Like, it was like the ultimate Jon Snow mic drop. And I was I was watching it going, you go, Jon Snow, you leave that castle and you go south and you find Khaleesi and you guys are going to get together and it's going to be awesome. Like, it's great. And this season I'm cheering for a Lannister. I never thought that would happen either, other than Tyrion. Like, I'm like wanting Cersei to like deliver some serious payback this year.
Oh man. I've never been a big fan of her character. Not that she doesn't do a good job, but just because she's such a devious character. But yeah, like I feel like she's got some serious payback coming.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that when all that was going down last season, I was like, man, they messed with the wrong one.
Oh yeah.
These guys have no idea what they've gotten themselves into. Was it weird to you in the episode that they were saying that they thought that Jon Snow was a god, and nobody was giving any credit to Missandre or whatever her name was, the person that actually resurrected him?
Brought him back.
Like,
yeah.
She's God. Like, she literally resurrected a dude. Like, if I was those guys, I'd be like, this chick, I don't even know like what's going on here.
It's all about the Lord of Light or whatever, that's where it's all coming from. It's kind of weird. That whole, like the religion within Game of Thrones is really interesting to me, how they have all these different gods and all these deities, and
it feels a little Greek, right?
Yeah. Well, wasn't Ben talking about the church that made Cersei walk through the streets? Like they in some ways symbolize Christianity or Catholicism and early Catholicism. I know. It's just,
it's definitely like the dark times Catholicism in our own history for sure.
Yeah. I think there's definitely some similarities and symbolism there for all the religions, I think. But yeah, it's kind of got like a Greek thing going on a little bit with the many gods and like whatever like faith Arya is doing there with the many-faced god or whatever. That's all like a really complex world in terms of religion.
How do you feel about the storyline with Arya the last 5 or so episodes?
You know, I was kind of frustrated in the first episode. I'm like, gosh, what's this blind girl? What's like, where's her story going? And I kind of feel like it's finally come to a understanding that she's, I guess, becoming like an assassin.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I've always liked Arya, and I've, you know, like when she was with the what was it, the Mountain, or what was he called? The Hound. When she was with the Hound, like I always loved watching her storyline, but ever since she got to the many-faced god thing, I have been bored to tears with her entire storyline.
It's been kind of boring. Like it's all like story or building up, but it's just continually building up. I'm like, when is it going to finally make, you know? And I think it will this season. I mean, we're finally getting to that point where like she's finally got her eyesight back, but I don't know.
We got to get her back out in the field, man. I can't watch any more scenes of her in a dark dungeon castle thing.
Well, I'm just glad she's finally like being back on that girl that keeps hitting her.
Yeah, that's true. That's kind of cool. But anyway, should we take a break and we'll come back and talk about Civil War, Captain America: Civil War? All right, we'll be back. This is Geek Revolution Radio.
Foolish mortals, if you value your souls, you can reach Attention Deficit Order Radio on iTunes and SoundCloud under Attention Deficit Order Radio. By email at AdioRadio0@gmail.com. On Facebook under Attention Deficit Order. On Twitter at AdioRadio. And BoboBroadcasting.com.
Hello. Hello. You know me. I am Babe. And you're listening to Geek Revolution Radio. Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, wait. We're
What?
doing this over again.
That was perfect.
No.
You didn't. What?
Okay, hold up a second.
Hello.
No.
What?
Okay, here. I'll
What?
cue you in, and we'll go.
You do
back.
not cue me in.
Okay, I'm not
Hello.
trying to say
I
anything.
work for ADO Radio, and I'm trying to do a plug for Geek Revolution Radio.
Okay, I'm gonna start it right now. Ready?
Okay.
Go.
Ready? Hello, this is Babe. You know me. I am from ADO Radio, and I am promoting Geek Revolution Radio.
We gotta do
Right?
this one more time.
Is that the way it goes?
No, you did it wrong.
What?
No. Okay, just Geek Revolution Radio.
Okay.
Make it legible.
All right.
Okay.
What, are you making fun of my speech?
No, I'm just enunciate. It's
I do
not
one
beyond your
take and one
grasp,
take
dude.
only.
Okay.
Under protest. All
Okay.
right, go ahead, go. I'm ready. You all know me. You know what I do for a living? I'm Bane. I'm from ADO Radio, and you're listening to Geek Revolution Radio. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Mike W.
I'm Mike T.
And we're from the Other Mike and Mike show over at theothermikes.com. And right now, you're listening to Geek Revolution Radio. Bitches!
Hello and welcome back to Geek Revolution Radio. I am Ryan and I'm here with Will, and we are going to break down Captain America: Civil War. Came out just a couple days ago. Me and Will have both seen it. If you haven't seen it, probably spoiler alert, but you know, if you don't care, it's fine too. So let's get right out of the box here. I went and saw it at the Alamo Draft House, which I would contend is the best place to see a movie ever. Will, what was your experience? Where did you go see it?
So we went to a different theater in town that was closer to my work, and I'm trying to think, Cinemark.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't so bad. It was like a DX theater. It's like, so it's not like their regular one, but like a next grade up. Like the audio was really good. The screen was a little bit bigger than usual. It wasn't IMAX, but it was big. So it was good quality video, good quality audio. The seats were really comfortable. But I'd say the only difference between that and Alamo is you don't bring food out to you and stuff
right.
like that.
Was 3D or 2D?
2D.
Yeah, I went and saw it in 2D as well. I'm done with 3D movies for live action. I just want to see everything in 2D.
I really am too. And I loved going and seeing Batman Superman on IMAX 2D.
Yeah.
I wish more movies did the IMAX 2D because I would be willing to pay more because I like the bigger quality or the bigger screen, good audio. So yeah,
I'm with you on that. That's one thing that's kind of frustrating about Austin. There aren't as many IMAX screens as you would think there is for the size of the city, and they always have the 3D version, which is I don't want to see that. I went and saw Star Wars in 3D in IMAX, and I was like, oh yeah, I hate this. I'm not going to these anymore in 3D.
Well, it's like you almost forget. It's like, oh yeah, I mean, I've seen some 3D movies that I liked or that weren't so bad, and then you go and you're like, oh yeah, this is not. I don't like this experience. Yeah,
and you must have way nicer Cinemarks out where you're at than we have because
it's a new one.
The Cinemarks I've been into in town, everything is sticky. I can't hang with it.
Oh no, it wasn't Cinemark. It was Tinseltown.
Oh, okay. Tinseltown's not bad.
Yeah, it's one of the newer ones here in town.
Yeah. But yeah, it's still I don't know. They keep things clean at Draft House, so that's my gig.
Yeah, that's always a nice. I hate going into a theater and like the floors are all sticky, and people haven't really done a good job of cleaning up and stuff like that.
Plus, they were playing like weird, like Mexican, like meaning made in Mexico, like videos of like guys dressed in poor costumes fighting as Captain America and Thor and things like that.
Their pre-movie screening stuff is awesome.
Yeah, you get there a half hour early just so that you can watch all the pre-screen stuff because it's hilarious.
Yeah.
It's so entertaining. Okay, so right out of the gate, Will, did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie?
I'm still indifferent. I feel like I really enjoyed it. I think there are a lot of things that I loved about it, but I also feel like I was telling my boss at work who does our entertainment segments, he did a review of it today too, and I told him, I was like, I just feel like at the end, like typically in American movies you have to have the nice happy wrap up, and I don't necessarily always need that, but I felt like there were things that I wanted resolved at the end that didn't get resolved, but that's kind of the Marvel way. They kind of move to the on the next week's episode, like that. So I kind of felt like I wanted more, and maybe that's just exciting for the next series.
Yeah, they definitely always leave you wanting more, and I think it's the reason they've been so successful because the Mickey Mouse has the Marvel machine and oiled and in full speed right now. So they need you a reason to go to the next one.
Yeah, I would say overall I liked it. It was a good.
I really liked it personally. And here's why I liked it, because of Spider-Man.
Yeah, he was pretty freaking awesome.
They can strip away Captain America out of this entire movie for all I care. Give me Spider-Man and give me more Captain America, more specifically not Captain America. Give me more Robert Downey Jr. as Tony Stark interacting with Peter Parker and or Spider-Man.
So pretty much you want to take Captain America out of his own movie?
Yeah, well, it didn't feel like this movie was really about Captain America anyway. This was Avengers 3, right?
Well, I mean, I guess you could call it the third Avengers film, but I mean, technically it is his movie.
It's just called his. I mean, what was he? There wasn't even that many scenes with just, Steve Rogers. There really wasn't.
Yeah, that's true.
There was a whole scene with just Aunt May and Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with Spider-Man, though. Like, that's what I think coming out of this movie, you're like, all right, I'm ready for the next Spider-Man.
Dude, you were preaching to the choir when you say to leave you wanting more, dude. I walked out of that thing going, I can't wait to see Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah,
I'm so stoked, dude. Like, they got first of all, they got the right kid to play Spider-Man. Like, he is Peter Parker as far as I'm concerned. 2, because it's back with Marvel, they did Peter Parker and Spider-Man right for maybe the first time ever.
Yeah, I honestly haven't disliked the other Spider-Mans that have been played, but you're right. I think this is probably the best version.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I like the other Spider-Man movies, but this is like I was endlessly excited, and all those fight scenes with Spider-Man, I was like I could not get enough of Spider-Man in that movie. It is strange that Aunt May is getting younger with each reboot of Spider-Man.
I kind of get the impression that we're not gonna get some overdone origin film with the next Spider-Man movie. I kind of get the impression that they might kind of go over the origin a little bit, but not like a full-fledged origin story, which I hate. I hate that these movies that we already know the origin so well. Like the last thing we need is a third origin Spider-Man movie.
But apparently a Batman origin story was all right with you for the 18th time.
Yeah.
I'm with you, man. If they do another freaking Spider-Man origin story, I'm going to be beating my head against the wall the same way I was for the first quarter of the Batman movie. Just
yeah.
I can't even believe that this is still a thing. Like, we don't need to set it up. They have as much setup as we needed with in this Captain America movie. Spider-Man had as much of an origin story as we needed. This movie is not about Captain America. The more we talk about it, the more I'm figuring out it's not. It's funny though. We were talking a little while back about what changed at Sony that allowed, all of a sudden they're like, here, you can have Spider-Man for your Avengers films and stuff like that. And I finally figured out what it was. I was watching Conan, and he had Robert Downey Jr. on. And apparently the deal is that Marvel approached Sony and said, if you give us Spider-Man, we will give you Iron Man. So the Spider-Man the next movie the Spider-Man movie is called Spider-Man Homecoming. And basically Robert Downey Jr. said he's already under contract for that movie. So my wish is going to be fulfilled, and I'm going to get plenty of Spider-Man on Iron Man action.
Yeah, that'll be a fun movie.
I'm way excited for it. It's going to be, I don't know, maybe the best ever. I'm really looking forward to it. So a lot of the critics and stuff were putting this out as like the best Marvel film ever.
I've generally positive reviews. I think it's fresh on Rotten Tomato right now.
Yeah, it was like 97% before it came out, like with just the critics that saw it in advanced screenings and stuff like that. I in terms of where it fits in the rest of the Marvel universe, I'd say it's probably in the top 5. I wouldn't call it top number 1, maybe even the 2 or 3, but I at least would say it's in the top 5. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Like, a lot of people are saying it's the best, but I don't think I've got it there. I think I've got it probably at about number 5. I've got Iron Man and Avengers. The first Iron Man and the first Avengers is slot 1 and 2 in either order. It doesn't matter to me.
I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a little higher. I just love that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Like, it's good. I would almost argue that I liked it better than Avengers 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I don't like ranking stuff like this just because I like it all way too much to really dictate which is better. It's like saying which one of your kids is better. Or
is your more favorite? Yeah, I mean, they're all good. I don't know. I'm kind of feeling right now like I'm almost like more excited for what's to come in the future Marvel universe.
I really liked there's certain things I really liked about this film. I really loved Paul Rudd.
Oh yeah.
He was so funny in this movie. I loved when he went big.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was like an awesome scene. I love the reference from Spider-Man being so young, making that Return of the Jet or Empire Strikes Back reference.
What is Empire Strikes Back? Yeah.
What is that old movie from forever ago? Do you guys remember? Oh my kid. I loved them fighting together, or like against each other, but not in a way that it was like, it's like how brothers fight.
Yeah.
They're not looking for blood. They're just kind of giving each other like, noogies and stuff.
Maybe a little blood, but not we're not going for kill shots here.
Yeah, they're definitely not going for the kill shot. And like they're even like kind of talking to each other in a manner that like, hey, we're still friends, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And to go back to what I said last week or the week before, whenever it was, this movie is exactly what Batman versus Superman should have been.
Yeah.
We didn't need a villain. This movie, if it had a villain, it was Captain America or Bucky, in my opinion, but we'll get into that. But it was the same characters we're used to. There wasn't an overarching villain that they all had to get together to fight at the end. They just fought each other, and it was awesome.
You know, I kind of feel like both movies are very similar. You know, they're fighting over politics in a sense.
Yeah, with the exception of Doomsday.
With the exception of Doomsday, yeah, definitely.
And that's, to me, where Batman versus Superman really got off base. That's where
South, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, because at the end of this movie, even at the end of this movie, Iron Man and Captain America do not agree. And they're still fighting, basically, for all intents and purposes.
Right.
The Batman versus Superman is like, oh my gosh, my mom's name's Martha. Let's go fight someone else now. You know, it's like, what's going on here? What is this?
Yeah.
It's just
as much as I want to defend Batman and Superman, I don't think I can anymore. I think
I beat it out of you.
Yeah, well, and I kind of feel like somebody pointed out after like a review of our show, they were like, hey, it seems like Will has more negatives about Batman and Superman. I was like, you know what, they're right. Like I can't defend it anymore. I want to because I love Superman. He's my favorite character, and I think those are the reasons why I like the movie. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't a good movie.
What is the what is the origin story of your love for Superman exactly?
I don't know. I think I would have to like sit down and really think about it.
I'd be curious to know because I could care less about Superman in every aspect of the thing.
No.
Like, to me, there's nothing interesting about him because he's invincible. But I love Batman, and I love Batman because that's all we had in the 90s, right? Even before that, I mean, I used to watch the old like TV show too, and it was all coming up all Batman.
My love for Superman might have come from that old TV show with Terry Hatcher and
Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, Lois and Clark. Yeah. I used to love that show when I was young. I don't know though. I mean, did you watch Smallville?
I
never really watched Smallville
because Smallville would have done everything you loved about Lewis and Clark. It would have just ruined both shows.
Yeah. I think this is where you and I are really going to disagree in terms of Captain America and Iron Man, the Civil War movie. We definitely side on different sides of who we support in the movie.
Before we even started this episode, after I saw the movie, I was almost going to guarantee that you'd be Team Captain America. I don't know why. I was just like, I know for a fact that I'm full on Team Iron Man. And I was like, I'll bet you that Will is just drinking the Captain America Kool-Aid this whole movie.
It's a safe bet.
That's awesome, dude. So that's gonna make for an interesting show. What is it about Captain America that I guess that you ended up on his side about?
So there's a couple things, and I kind of feel like I agree with the notion that he brings up. So they basically present them with this new law that basically they have to give themselves up to the United Nations as an organization. One of the first things that Captain America says about it, and they're discussing the merits of it all, basically says, you know, I can't trust this in man's hands, essentially. Right. Like, governments are fallible, and, you know, who's to say that we can or can't go after somebody, you know, or they tell us that we have to, or we, you know, all those little things really kind of struck strong with me in terms of Captain America's argument.
Yeah, and I actually don't disagree with you there. I think as far as that part of the movie goes, I'm definitely more on Captain America's side, but you also have to remember the reason why they started these sanctions was because Bucky is a freaking borderline terrorist loose cannon.
Well, I feel like I also side with Captain America on that because I see Bucky as a victim, as somebody that's been so severely brainwashed that he is a weapon more than he is a villain, or it's who's using him as the villain to me. And that's where I see the Baron Zemo guy as the true villain in this story, not Buck. because Bucky's basically been used. Like he's just in control. He doesn't have control of what he does, and I think that's why Captain America is so loyal to that, is because he knows, it's not Bucky's not the root of evil here. It's something bigger and bigger picture, and that nobody else wants to see throughout the entire story.
Right. But on the same hand, Bucky is responsible for his own actions like anyone else is, and even if you get brainwashed into flying some planes into a World Trade Center, for example, you're still an asshole and you still should go to prison.
well, I mean,
Bucky was carrying out, he was being what we would consider now a terrorist. And he tried to shoot Iron Man, by the way.
See, this is the thing, though. You say he has control, and I feel like he doesn't. He doesn't. The only times he has control is when he's not being manipulated by Zemo.
Right, but in the same hand, he should still be institutionalized in a prison, right?
Oh, well, I think at the end of the movie, his move to be frozen until they could really clean his head, that's the best move. I think that's what they have to do with him. But to say that like he's in control of his actions, I don't think he was.
It just rubbed me the wrong way that Captain America is so loyal to somebody like him, to a major fault, by the way, that he was defending him long after his actions should have been defended.
Well, see,
I mean, what happened to Captain America's loyalty to Iron Man, to Tony Stark?
Yeah, I think there was a question there in terms of his loyalty to Tony. I think you're right, but I don't know. I just kind of feel like it's that friendship, but it's also Captain. Like he's loyal to his friendship, but he's also loyal to going after it so earnestly. I don't know. I guess there is a fault in that, but in the end, it paid off because you find the true villain there. Whereas if they had just, if he had let, if the story wise, if they had just let Bucky taken the fall for the bombings, they would have never found out that it wasn't Bucky who did it. It was actually Zemo.
Right.
And they would have just sent him off to be institutionalized or prisoned or whatever, or executed. And they would have never known the truth that was being hidden, that Captain America was consistently pursuing.
Right, and I agree with that, but I mean, this is not Bucky's first offense. Look at the last Captain America movie.
Yeah.
He did horrible things. Then he did horrible stuff before Captain even came out of the icebox. I think Captain America is still really, really set on his life that he had back in the 1940s, and that life is dead and gone and was a long time ago. Even, I mean, this has got to be at least 5 years after that, if not 10. I mean, it's a lot of years after they woke him up from the ice, and it just feels to me like Captain America, like I said, is loyal to a major fault with Bucky just because that's the one person left that you knew before, he was frozen essentially. And I mean, Captain America should have loyalty to Tony Stark just because of what his dad did for him, right? Tony Stark's dad is the one who gave him his superpowers, allowed him to go in the military, allowed him to serve, made him who he is today. Yeah,
there's definitely that loyalty there, but you also hear Tony say, I've hated you forever, pretty much. Yeah. Because dad loved you more than he loved me, essentially.
And I can see that part. I can see that. You got to see it from from Iron Man's side.
Yeah.
Tony Stark is feeling like this is a guy I would assume feels very close with, just due to the nature of the fact that he's almost died with him a few times. Yeah. And I would suspect he's feeling very jealous of the relationship that he has with Bucky. And like he said in the movie, he says, "I don't know why you're defending him."
Yeah. Well, so my friend that does the entertainment segments for our news made a really interesting point to say that Tony Stark's character really made a story arc. Like there's definitely some build, some background, some changes the movie went along, but Captain America was pretty much the same straight arrow throughout the whole film.
That's what I'm saying, dude. This was not a Captain America movie.
And I guess that's where you could say, like, I would agree with you to some degree that that's maybe a fault of Captain America, is that there is no like gray. It's just this or nothing, and he just was that same character throughout.
Yeah, because I mean, I would have liked to have seen Captain America not be like you said, where he's black or white. Like, no matter what he did, we're gonna help him or whatever. He should be like, yeah, he did some horrible things, and we're gonna help him. And we're gonna help him by at least getting this guy contained in a cell somewhere to start with. There's a lot of things other than just letting him go wild and then do who knows what in the future to who knows who, you know what I mean? And it was really tough seeing what happened to War Machine, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, I think
really tough. And that was Bucky again.
Well, I don't put the blame on Bucky for that. I think that's a casualty of a fight.
Yeah, but like you said before, though, it wasn't. The fights were friendly except for that part, like where he literally sent him off to die.
Bucky didn't pull the trigger. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of feel like my whole thing about Bucky is I feel like he's the victim here. That if you see him as anything other than somebody that's fallen prey to the organizations that have victimized him, then you should it's all his fault, but in a sense it's also not his fault.
Right.
You almost can blame Hydra for
Yeah, I don't disagree with that for sure.
It's hard, and that's I think what makes this movie good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's kind of hard. You have a hard decision to go, how do I see this character? It's not so open shut.
Yeah, and I mean, and it's like I said, I don't 100% agree with with Iron Man. Basically, he's some version of the, like we were talking about earlier in the show, the Austrian government saying everybody needs to be this and that, and we need to have our fingers in everything. The government needs to have their fingers in everything. I don't think they do with this. Yeah. I don't think there's any reason for them to worry about vigilantes, especially ones that are not even really vigilantes. Like, they know that Tony Stark is Iron Man. They know Steve Rogers is Captain America because they showed that in the movie when those guys are out running around the streets in their regular rides. Like, hey, you're so-and-so, I don't know. Very interesting direction that this movie is going. I did like that they spent a little time on the backstory of Spider-Man, like we were saying with his origin story. How did you like Marissa Tomei as Aunt May?
I think I'm really going to enjoy that. I think I've always liked her acting. Like, she's a great actor. So it'll be interesting to see her play a younger Aunt May.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though. It's kind of funny. Like, each movie, she gets a little younger.
Yeah, she's definitely... Marissa Tomei is definitely easy to watch up there on the screen. No doubt about that. What about the kid? What do you think? You didn't really say. What do you think about the kid they picked to play Spider-Man, the actor himself, and I guess his age?
I was, at first when they announced it, I was like, oh, are they really going to go with a young Spider-Man? But I guess that's the right move, compared to the other movies. And they went with somebody that I really didn't know much about. I hadn't seen any movies that he'd been in.
Yeah.
But I liked it. I thought the kid nailed it. He did a really good job.
Oh, definitely. Completely agree. I would have liked to have, I don't know. I still at some point would like to see Miles Morales as Spider-Man, though.
Yeah. I think I agree with you there. What did you think of Black Panther?
Not that interesting.
Really?
No, not for me.
I've been reading Black Panther the last couple months, and I like the character. I think I'm excited to see what they do with a solo film. Yeah,
and I think if I had read some Black Panther something at some point, I probably would feel the same way. My only exposure to Black Panther is that movie.
Yeah.
For me, it felt like the hero that he portrayed and the mysticism did not match the character in the movie that was behind the mask.
Did you like the guy playing him though?
Yes, but I didn't like the way he played him. I would have preferred more mysticism to it.
Really?
It felt to me like they pulled back the curtain a little too much with him, maybe. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
But overall, I think these films are heading in the right direction. I don't know. I didn't even know if they were going to be able to pull off this movie with that many different, heroes in it, especially when they start pulling in Paul Rudd and stuff like that. But they did, and they pulled it off pretty well. I mean, the story maybe suffered a little bit, but
that's the thing is you start to introduce more and more characters, like it takes up screen time almost, and it's going to be a serious shuffle to try to do it all. I mean, like really think about it. If they go with whatever Avengers Infinity Wars, whatever, and they bring in Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers, and then they have like 20 other characters that we're going to be introduced over the next 5 years. That's like 30, 40, 50 characters.
I was exactly going to say what you just said, because, even in this movie, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, like they were just supporting cast. I mean, not even really supporting cast. They were borderline extras in this film a little bit. I mean, there was nothing for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that makes me wonder, something like Guardians of the Galaxy, when it starts playing into Infinity War, don't get me wrong, I'm excited to see them all fight together, but I just don't know how they're going to pull off a movie that massive. They did, but then again, they did pull it off pretty well with this one. So
yeah.
I probably should just trust that they're going to be able to do okay with it, especially since they're doing 2 movies.
Yeah, I think you're right. We just basically have to, if we've liked what Marvel has been doing for the last 5, 6, 7 years, we assume that they know what they're doing.
Do you think at some point they're going to start killing some of these guys off?
They have to. I'm pretty sure I was honestly surprised that War Machine didn't die.
Yeah. I would have been okay with that, actually. It actually probably would have been better for the story arc if he had died.
Yeah, I think it would have too. Him not dying kind of makes it seem like, oh, well, you can come back from it. Tony Stark's super smart. But definitely in Infinity Wars, I'm going to assume some people are going to die.
Yeah, and I mean, even in this film, I would have traded Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch and I would have traded a couple of the characters to see Thor and Hulk.
Yeah.
It feels like they really needed Hulk in this one.
Hulk is just such, like, he would have killed them all. He would have just bashed them all.
I don't think so. I think with Giant Ant-Man, we needed the Hulk. Like, I feel like that would have been a great matchup to see.
That would have been a kind of a funny matchup. I think you're right.
Ant-Man could have and can fight the Hulk in big, medium, or small size. Yeah. Because the Hulk he's just a bulldozer. You know what I mean? A bulldozer. I mean, Ant-Man can get small and kick him in the face, and Hulk is just going to get mad about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. But I think it's just really interesting to see the different characters. I agree. Thor and Hulk needed to be in this movie, and I'm kind of disappointed that they didn't add them to the film.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Chris Hemsworth, from the things I've been seeing him post on Facebook, I think he might feel a little slighted by it as well.
Yeah. Even if he was in it just like minor, like a little bit, like even if it was for his own personal story with the next movie that he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I honestly am still kind of bummed out that they haven't announced or have any plans to make a Hulk movie. I feel like they need to.
I don't think they're going to, man. I mean, they have this Marvel film franchise planned out for like the next while, and it's not on the docket, man.
I really like what Mark Ruffalo is doing with the character, and it kind of bugs me that they don't want to give it a shot again.
I'm with you, and it's like you said, it's frustrating because I think as fans, we're crying pretty loudly for it and have been for basically since the first Avengers movie.
Yeah,
this needs to happen, and and instead we're going to get Inhumans, and
actually, I think they keep that one off the docket.
Well, it's going to happen eventually, though. I mean, and they're going to make a Black Panther movie. I would rather see a Hulk movie than Black Panther. I would rather see a Hulk movie than what's the Mr. Marvel, or what are they making with Benedict Cumberbatch? What's that one?
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange. I'd rather see that than Doctor Strange.
I'm really excited about that one, but I just feel like I heard recently that Marvel is deeply considering a Black Widow movie, and I'm like, not that I don't like Scarlett Johansson and the characters are right, but you're right. We need a Hulk movie. We need a good Marvel-produced, Marvel-made Hulk movie.
I want to see a Hulk movie more than I want to see another Avengers movie. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens, I guess. You never know. I mean, we're living in a world where there's going to be one Star Wars movie a year for the next who knows how long. So
it is definitely a great time to be a geek.
Maybe they can bring him into Star Wars. We can have the Hulk in there. Why not? Let him blow up a Death Star or two.
He would definitely destroy it.
That's ultimate, like Trump, right? We don't need to find an exhaust port. We'll just shoot the Hulk at it.
Just throw him at it.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Well, we're going to kick off for the week. Do you have anything else to add, Will?
No, I think overall this was a good movie and definitely worth seeing again. I think that's the
Oh, you think it's worth seeing it again in the theater?
Yeah,
that's what. Let's put it there with our rating system. Is this a theater, Redbox? What is it?
I would say this is for anybody out there. It's worth seeing in the theater. And I liked it enough that I might be willing to see it again. I probably won't see it until it comes out on rental, but it was good.
Yeah, I agree, except for I liked this movie and I think I've been pretty clear that I liked it a lot, but this one's a Redbox movie for me.
Yeah.
I think I would have, knowing what I do now, I would have been okay to wait till Redbox.
Are you going to buy it when it comes out?
No. No, I'll probably rent it on Redbox, watch it one more time, and then just to get my Spider-Man fix mostly.
Yeah.
Just fast forward through the, just rewind back to the start of the Spider-Man stuff. We'll see. But anyway, all right. Well, until next time, I'm Ryan.
I'm Will.
Live long and prosper, and may the force be with you. GeekRevolutionRadio.com.
You've been listening to Geek Revolution Radio, hosted by William Hatton and Ryan Bennett. For more information about Geek Revolution Radio, go to geekrevolutionradio.com. Feel free to interact with the show at facebook.com/geekrevolutionradio. The intro song is called What You Want. The credit song is Riptide. Both are composed by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons. The views and opinions expressed on Geek Revolution Radio are those of the panelists and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of our sponsors. Thank you for listening.
This show is a proud member of the Bat Squad Network. For this and other great shows, head over to batsquadnetwork.com.